Yeah, going off with hey, what's up, guys? First of all, real world yaks. I like that one. Going off what Sean the Vessel had said is like, oh, there's the phone. Of course, just as I start calling, I think someone will get it here. It's my little sister calling. She's coming up to visit for a day or so here with all the kids, so they're getting everything set together. All right, someone got it. Yeah. So where was I with the real world yaks? That cracking me up. No, what Sean was saying, I think is definitely funny and true. I even feel like there's certain things where I probably painted it as if like I felt like I had no choice and was drugged into things. Like I very well might have had a choice. You never know. I just didn't take the choice. And I said, like, that's like, there's certain things that out there. I'm sure that within my game seems like you have no choice in the matter. It's like your choices are or death. That sounds terrible. Cake or death, please. I don't know if either Sean's well, Eddie Izzard. I don't know if you guys do, but it's a funny skit or a funny thing. But yeah, yeah. So like the choice should never be or death. Like and like I said, you can get yourself into a situation where the choice is or death, and that sucks. But you know what? That happens sometimes. Um, Not everyone can live forever. But yeah, yeah. I think as far as like real world goes, there's a decent room for different styles of things. Like whereas, you know, Unleashed is I'm not gonna say Unleashed is more open because I don't feel like Generations is closed by any means or anything like that. But like, there's different ways of storytelling. Like there's choose your own adventure. There's like I don't think like as far as literature goes, like a choose your own adventure book has ever been like heralded as one of the great works of literature out there. Whereas very linear storylines that you follow through from beginning, middle to end are definitely on the more legendary scale. Like as far as like famous works of literature and history, like your Odysseys and your Iliads and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, you can say like, oh yeah, you don't have as much choice, which I don't think that's the case. I think there is choice still, but like, you can have a different kind of narrative style to your story. Like you can put a player on some tracks and say, go to town on those tracks, player, but and you might try to guide the player back to those tracks if they wander too far, or you could just let them wander. Like I don't think one is better than the other. Like both have their merits. On the one hand, you're going to get that story told. On the other hand, you might end up you might end up saying, "Screw the hero work. I'm going to become a fisherman." And unless you really like fishing, there's going to be less people that care about what's it called, what kind of fish you caught, and like the more mundane stuff, like the living out your life kind of thing. Is if you want to do that in real world, you can do it. And yeah, I just that was just funny with. What Sean was saying. It's like I don't think Generations is super linear. Like and everything. Like I feel like, and this isn't like a dig at old Generations because I still like really enjoyed. Like I said, I had a lot of fond memories of old Generations, but like I feel like Generations has stepped its game up considerably, and like it might be. It might be on my end where I was just kind of ignorant as to what I was looking at and looking for because I was pretty new. I was pretty new to the game in college and everything like that. And I'm sure I picked it up decently quick, but like even then, like I still feel like there's nuances I pick out today where I wouldn't have noticed before, and that comes from, a lot of role playing outside of real world. Like, I kind of got into it in like some various games and stuff like that, different communities. You see a lot of different aspects of it because like in a game, a lot of times it's like you have the stuff that's happening whenever you're playing the game, and then like there's the downtime afterwards, which becomes a lot more mundane. But you learn to kind of enjoy the character development that comes from there. So that's why wanting to become a fisherman and do different fish like that, like that's still interesting to me, at least as a player. Like to get on that mundane stuff. Like not everything has to be this grand story where you're the hero of it. You can just be someone else and kind of experience the world around you. I get a better way to put it. Like Sean, a couple of you guys are into anime. It's like you have your action adventure like Dragon Ball Z type stuff, but then like you have your slice of life kind of animes. Now they're not for everybody, but like there's a lot of people that enjoy those kind of things where it's more mundane, but like it's more about the character interactions and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of room in there for stories to be told and stuff like that. It's always interesting to see how it plays out. And but yeah, didn't want to cut away from praising Generations too much, but like I really feel like Generations has stepped its game up. Like I said, it was good before, but like so far with everything with Cass, it's been outstanding. Like the story, the world, and like I said, I'm pretty confident. Like more of it is on my end, like kind of being more self-aware and aware of my surroundings, just how good it is. Like I said, how much. Like I said, I don't know if the storytelling's gotten better or my appreciation for the storytelling has gotten better. So it's like you know, I'm sure the DM has gotten better because as with age and experience, most things do. Unless you're talking about your knees, then they tend to hurt a little bit as you get older. But but no, like I said, and then part of it's probably on my end too, where it's like kind of like this doubly positive effect where both the DM and myself, have either improved our appreciation for the things. So yeah, long story short of this video, Generations is awesome. Uh, I hear so many good things about the legendary game too. I'm hyped to get into that, get my character going. I'm still completely drawing a blank for I'm making a character for Keith's game. I feel bad, but it's just like, man, I'm searching for something. Like I've looked over like I guess not, every once in a while like I'll look up some like powers and stuff like that that sound interesting. At least I try to get ideas to build upon, and it's like, what do I want to do? No idea to even start. I said I was looking at the Alpha Wikipedia, which is funny because like I think Tymir and Sean and I were like decently fans of the show, and like I think Keith, it was referenced to Keith as far about that level, but it's like Keith isn't like a super fan of that show. But it was like I was like they did some really interesting things with powers on the subtle levels. Like there was some interesting things that kind of came out of that. And I was like, oh, they can be translated pretty cool to real world, at least on that scale, like on that street level scale, without having the wide overarching effects. But like then there's also so much you can do on that minor scale that like it's also tricky because you're gonna, I don't want to say you're gonna be a one trick, but you're gonna be a one trick pony out of it. But it's like it's more likely to be the case. Like you're not gonna get like quite as well rounded of a character. So it's like what you want to build. Like I mean I'm even leaning towards like just going like straight the tech route, and I'm gonna or, not necessarily like the guy who sees like radio waves or anything like that, but like there was a guy who in alphas who could basically like I don't want to say like genius level intellect, but it was like something to do with inventing or something. And it's like because technology is kind of a good extension at street level things. But Batman's Batman for a reason. He's got the technology to go along with the training and everything like that. But yeah, so that's one of those ones before I commit to anything, I want to wait and hear what everyone else does, or that I'm not overlapping with any other characters, because I'm a big fan of everyone carving out their own niche, even though like we might never play together or anything like that. Like I think seeing as varied of a real world experience as you can get through the different players, especially since a lot of people share their sessions here now. Like it's like and like I said, my tech genius might be different than your tech genius or everything like that, but like it's still interesting to see as much variety as possible. That's why like that's one of those ones I think I've talked about before, is like my thing with Generations is I really really have wanted to go back and play another Celentrian, but just play it on the straight Celentrian side and not mix the race, because that race to me was so fascinating and so interesting, and I liked them a lot. But on the other hand, like you want to, like there's so much new stuff out there to try. And don't get me wrong when I say that, like I don't regret picking the new Itari, because I've had a blast with that too. So it's like, yeah, it's like even being a part of a story, like you don't even get the full picture sometimes, and you want to go back and play it again to get the full picture, because it kind of entices you to figure out what everything is going on. But yeah, that's probably enough rambling there. I don't know how long these videos go. Uh, Still working on that Keith character. And time of year, like I said, yeah, if you have like any starting point for your character, like if you have an idea for Unleashed, just even starting like as a race or like a basic kind of like power you want, you can feel free to forward them along. That way the DM can have the better information for you, especially like with a kind of power like you might be thinking of, and you'll kind of see what you can get out of it. Like that can be done beforehand. But if you haven't decided on that yet, no worries. All right, we'll cut out there.